Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2012 Dodge Ram 1500, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the CURT Class 5 2-inch trailer hitch receiver. So probably my favorite thing about this hitch is that it's going to give us a lot of performance and weight carrying capacity and still look pretty decent. That's because it is a Class 5. Most of the other Class 5s are really big and bulky, and they take up a lot of space back here and just don't really look that great in my opinion. This one almost maintains more of a factory look. So it's going to have a 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening. So that's going to work with many of your common hitch-mounted accessories. It's going to have a reinforced collar for extra strength. It's also going to have the standard 5/8 size pinhole. Now a pin and clip does not come included, but if you need one, you can find it here at eTrailer. It's going to have plate-style safety chain openings, which are really thick and robust and would give me a lot of confidence whenever I was hooking up to them. And they're going to be pretty large and in the open, so we shouldn't have any trouble at all using just about any size hook. Since this is a Class 5 hitch, it's going to have some really impressive weight capacities. As far as the maximum gross tongue weight rating goes, it's going to be 1,500 pounds. So that's going to be the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. So if you were to want to use any accessories, you could use pretty much any one that you would like to. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, it's going to be 15,000 pounds. So that's going to be the amount of weight pulling on the hitch. So that's a weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have on it. Now this can be used with the weight distribution system, which is a separate component, but if you do use that, the weight capacities do increase a little bit. The maximum gross tongue weight rating goes up to 1,600 pounds, and the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes up to 16,000 pounds. Now, I do always like to point out, it's never a bad idea to check with your truck's owner's manual to make sure it can tow that much weight. And if your truck doesn't already have trailer wiring, I would recommend you pick some up. That way the lights on your trailer will match up with the lights on your truck, and you'll be safe and legal. And as a bonus, if you ever do decide to use some hitch-mounted accessories like an off-road type cargo carrier, something along those lines that folds up, the hitch is going to be good for that too. The end of the receiver tube is going to sit pretty much flush with our bumper and give us that clearance that we would need. Now I'm going to give you a couple of measurements, and you're going to use these to help figure out which hitch-mounted accessories to get. From the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, it's going to be about 19 inches. So chances are pretty good you're probably going to need to get a ball mount with a drop. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of our bumper, that's going to be about 2.5 inches. And you're going to use that measurement to help figure out that if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in the upright position without contacting the bumper. So overall, a really versatile hitch that's not only going to look good, but it's also made right here in the USA. Now as far as the installation goes, believe it or not, it's really not that bad. Everything's straightforward and easy to get to. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and put it on together now. To begin our install, what we're going to do is just temporarily lower our spare tire. That way it'll give us a little more room to work. Now what we can do is remove this bolt here inside of our frame rail, and when we take this out, we're going to save it because we are going to reuse it here in a little while. So I'll grab a 21mm socket to pull it out. Now something I want to mention, anything we do to this side of the truck, we're also going to repeat on the other side. Now what we can do is start to get our hardware in place. And so the attachment point we're going to work on first is going to be this hole in the frame right here. So how we're going to get our hardware in is by using a fish wire. So we're going to take the coil into the fish wire, push it through the hole towards the back of the truck. We're going to want it to drop out of the end of our frame rail. And what we're going to do is take our large spacer block, slide that over, and a carriage bolt. That carriage bolt will thread on to the pull wire. Then we're going to feed all of our hardware back into the frame rail We can pull on the other end of our fish wire. And get our hardware dropped down like that. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to get our hitch into position. So we're going to take our pull wire, put it through this first hole. We're using that one because our truck's a short bed. If you have a long bed, you'll use this one. We'll raise it up. Get our bolt to pass through. What we're going to do is take our factory bolt and re-thread it into this attachment point. And that'll help kind of support the hitch. Then what we can do is take our pull wire off, and you want to be sure not to just pull it off. You want to unthread it because we will need to reuse this. We're going to take a flange nut and get that started hand tight as well. Now that the hitch is supporting itself, we can work on the remaining hardware. So we're going to have another hardware combination to get in place. On the back side of our hitch here, we're going to have an oval hole. Again, we'll use our fish wire, taking the coiled end, running it through and pushing it towards the outside of our truck. When we work this through, we're going to want it to come out of the end of our tube here. We're going to take the smaller spacer block, and another carriage bolt, that threaded on. Just like the other one, we're going to pull our hardware into that tube and out through our hitch just like that. So to put our hex nut on, what I like to do is take a flathead screwdriver and just kind of pry or put some pressure on our bolt. That way we don't have to worry about falling back inside of the tube there. And once we kind of hold it steady, we can pull off our fish wire, take our hex nut, and get it started. With all of our hardware in place and hand tight, now we can go ahead and snug it all down. With everything all snug, we can grab a torque wrench and tighten all the hardware down to the amount specified in the instructions. Now with the hitch all bolted up, we can go ahead and raise our spare tire back into position. And as you can see, our spare tire is not going to interfere at all with our hitch. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the CURT Class 5 trailer hitch receiver on our 2012 Dodge Ram 1500.